Let me know when. So, I mean, how do you feel about this Epitaph collection coming out? How does it feel for you?
I think it's a nice thing.
Go and stop them.
Or not.
Or not.
Maybe.
Okay. I will repeat the question. Yes, what do you think of Epitaph? Hello? You ready?
Go.
Okay. So, what are your emotions with this particular collection coming out? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think it's a nice thing. I was listening actually to some of the old bootlegs of King Crimson, and it wasn't until I heard the bootlegs that it really put me in touch with actually what the band was like. You know, because probably now for 25 years, all I've ever really referred to is the original album. But to hear the band actually playing was brought back a lot of very, very fond memories.
Now, I know we have this footage, which I believe is your footage from Hyde Park. Is that right?
I believe it is, yeah.
Oh,
I
yes.
don't know where I got it from. I think it might have come off the Stones mobile or something. It was just something I had around for years and years and years. And I just noticed it just said King Crimson on the box. And so one day I had it transferred, and it was just, a lot of it, of course, had deteriorated, but there was just that little section left. So I gave it to Robert. I thought, you know.
What are your memories, though, of that particular concert and the event?
It was an extraordinary event, because in those days very little had happened like it, other than maybe Woodstock was the only other comparable thing. And it was a sad day in a way, because it was commemorating the death of Brian Jones. And on the other hand, it was really the birth of King Crimson. It was a sort of strange day from that point of view. And of course, any gig with the Stones is a strange event in and of itself. But it was the first time the public at large really got to have a look at the band. And it was the first time that we realised that the band had what, for want of a better description, would be mass acceptance. And that was a thrill, you know, because we were all really new, and that was the first time we really realised that the band meant something, or was going to mean something. It was a lovely day, a sunny day, and in those times, you know, it was peace and it was love, and it was, you know, everybody was really happy. It was a very nice concert.
I mean, your memories of King Crimson for the period you were there, are they overall happy, would you say?
Oh yeah. It's funny enough, you know, it is one of those situations that since the day the band formed, I can't remember any of us having a crossword with, you know, anybody. That the band's always been totally friendly and very kind towards each other, you know. I mean, we all phone around every, you know, Christmas we'll all speak, you know. It's a sort of friendship bond, quite aside really from the musical aspects of it, which is probably quite unusual for bands from that period. They usually war a lot and fight a lot and become, you know, it's a stressful situation being in a band. But King Crimson has remained, you know, friendly and bonded in that sense. It's a lovely thing to be a part of.
I mean, for many fans, and I think definitely critics at least anyway, they consider this particular lineup and what we're hearing today and looking at as the King Crimson, the major band. I mean, how do you view that?
Well, I think in terms of its having an influence upon the sort of wandering course of music, I think it was probably important. It came as a shock, I think, to the music world, and it was a refreshing type of situation, which it brought a new way of listening to music, a new way of approaching music, which was anti-format. I mean, it broke away from the mold of 3-minute pop songs, and it was something new. And I think that's what the original band had going for it. And of course, like all bands, it's a matter of chemistry. The chemistry of the band was special. And in that sense, you know, it was unique. And of course, the first of anything is always has some sort of nostalgic appeal, I suppose.
I mean, you obviously went on to even bigger exposure and more success at Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Do you think King Crimson could have ever had that kind of success, or was it never to be for them?
Had the band stayed together for more than the year that it did, I'm quite sure it would have gone on to greater and greater things. And we often talk about that, you know. I wonder what if, you know, what if it had gone on. But maybe, you know, there's a certain benefit in the fact that it was only a short burst, you know. It's like taking the cream right off the top of the milk, and you know, you never get to deal with the rest of it. It's there's something good about it, and the fact that it just only had its heyday. But yes, I'm sure it would have gone on to do great things. And in that sense, I think we all probably kind of regret a bit that it didn't go longer than it did. But as I say, it's a double-edged sword, and the fact that we're here today perhaps is due partly to the fact that it was so short-lived. And
is that surprising to you? I mean, it's now, what, 28 years or something?
It does a bit, I must say. It does, and as I said to you earlier, the fact that we've remained so sort of bonded as friends is surprising. That's why the band, I think, had an element of greatness, is because it had this chemistry which was to do with the people as opposed to the music. It was a personal thing. It was a personal bond. It was a meeting of minds rather than a meeting of players. And because, you know, someone like Ian or myself is really totally different musically from someone like Robert. And yet it was that chemical mix that when the elements were poured together, it became effervescent, and there was, you know, that flash of whatever it is, you know, inspiration or joy that you get from being in that situation. And I think that's sort of lasted us through the years, really, on a friendship and a bonded sort of level.
And you okay there? And the music, obviously, itself is a testament to it that it is still here 28 years later, and people...
It's a joy. You know, one of the things that now gives me tremendous pleasure is to see how the music weaved itself into people's lives, quite unintentionally, but music has an attachment to events and moments in people's lives. And for me, the thing that gives me a great deal of joy now is when people come up to me and say, you know, that song Lucky Man, you know, that really, I met my wife then, or it got me through college, or, you know, and actually some fantastic stories about the, you know, the situations people were in when that music reached them. And so that really does have some lasting sort of gratification. It's not just a hit record, it's something that, and because people, when that record came out, the people who were listening to it were teenagers. And that is largely when your musical tastes are formed and when a lot of impactful things happen in your life. And so it weaved itself into people's lives. And it's very nice. It's very nice to have an album like that.
That's great.
I feel very fortunate.
Thank you, that's fine. Have we got a long shot? You just stand there for a second. We're done. Can I get you to sign a release form for me?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Can you just stand back? You just stand back 1 second, because we're actually taking a...
I know.
Just a wide shot of you. That's great. That's fine. Thank you very much.